It all began 15 years ago when bankruptcy forced a billionaire to walk away from his almost finished dream home on a remote lake in northern Ontario, Canada. Trashed and looted by vandals and worn down by the harsh climate, this 65,000 square foot masterpiece became a favorite of urban explorers and racked up millions of YouTube views. But no one was willing to buy it. It was just too big, too damaged, and too complicated. Then one day, a Texas businessman stumbled onto it during a late-night YouTube session and decided to risk it all and buy the mansion, sight unseen. What was he thinking, taking on such a massive project? How will he convince his family to travel 3,000 miles north to help him? And how will they tackle a project that's become known as Mansion Impossible?
My name is Chris Fischer, and I am the guy who will take on the project that nobody else will touch.
Where did you find this?
I see this place on YouTube, and I immediately fall in love.
The way it was built, the architecture, the style, I just couldn't stop watching. Just from the video and past construction experience, I knew I had to have it.
And I get a hold of the owners, we negotiate a deal, and I decide to buy this place, sight unseen.
This is your worst idea yet.
Oh my God.
Too big of a prize.
What do you think, Macy? This will be failure right here. Awesome, right there.
Sometimes my family thinks I'm nuts, but I take on these projects because it's a sense of accomplishment. You know, that you've done something that others have walked away from.
Dude, this is ridiculous.
I don't know where you're pulling the money for this one.
You all need to be more optimistic.
Chris Fischer is the only man on this planet that would see a mansion on YouTube and go out and say, I'm gonna buy that.
You gotta see the vision. See the vision.
What I'm expecting to find in Canada is a beat down building that is beyond repair.
So how big a job is it? Let's just say there's a reason it's been abandoned for over 15 years.
I don't think that Chris is aware of the enormity of the task that's in front of him. I call this place the mistake on the lake, and I think to fix the mistake is going to be a real challenge.
I'm not, going in blind. Since I bought the mansion, I've visited a bunch of times, so I know there's a ton of damage, a ton of vandalism.
So we need to find out what's there, and we discover where do we start.
You obviously walk in, you see this beautiful exotic wood, and yet it's falling off the roof, it's swelling up, there's mold, and then you got water issues. You got mushrooms, for God's sake, growing in this thing. I see them on the floor.
The mansion has also been a favorite target of vandals and looters.
A lot of paint, a lot of graffiti, holes kicked in the walls. There's a lot of damage in the building.
These guys actually shot the glass thinking it's bulletproof, so you got windows everywhere, shattered bullet holes. You look at the stone walls, they're graffiti. Graffiti on the outside, graffiti on the inside. And then you've got elevator shafts full of crap. If it wasn't bolted to the floor, it's in the elevator shaft.
And as if that wasn't already bad enough, the mansion's blueprints have been lost, burnt and scattered in puddles all over the property.
I think what scares me most about this house is just the sheer scale of everything. Things we've never thought about that we have no clue what we're doing.
We got swimming pools, 3 of them all over the place. We don't know if they work, what's going on, a pond system. Who knows how to even operate that thing? We see piping going everywhere. I mean, this stuff's 15 years old. What's good, what's not? You go to the mechanical room. What's been stripped, what hasn't been stripped? Generators, air conditioning units. What's left? There's gonna be a big surprise.
Yeah, smells bad, looks bad. Scary to walk through in some parts.
So what kind of person would risk it all to buy a massive abandoned mansion 3,000 miles away that everyone else says is totally unfixable?
3 words that would describe my dad would be spontaneous,
Nutty,
Bossy,
Comical,
brave, annoying,
a dreamer.
It can be a pain in the ass.
Hey, we got the motivator here. You don't work?
He's kind of this guy where 1 minute he's doing something and you're like, wow, he is a total genius. And then 10 minutes later, you're like, wow, this is the biggest idiot I've ever met.
My dad's not afraid of failure, but he definitely goes in sometimes without a plan.
I've done lots of things. I've done fisheries in Alaska. I've done land development in North Dakota. Overnight I was in the dog business. I've done cattle. I've done restaurants and a lot of construction. We build the buildings our restaurants are in.
My dad's definitely unique. I wouldn't say there's someone I've ever met that's like him. He wants it and he does it. He might not know how it's going to get done, but he finds a way to get it done.
I've done all these different things, and yet I'm not an expert in any of them, but I can do them.
But even Chris has to admit that restoring a mansion that's bigger than the White House is not a project he can tackle on his own.
This job is huge, so I'm obviously going to have to convince my crew to come up here. And my crew's not just a bunch of workers, they're family.
Working with family on this project is the best atmosphere because they are gonna give me a bunch of crap, but they can also take a bunch of crap.
I asked you, are you ready to listen this time? No.
Working with my dad, I describe it as there's never a dull moment. Whatever we're doing, he's gonna make it fun, whether it's a road trip or we're just working cows, it's always fun.
Maybe it's our one final project here that we do something and we all just enjoy it, enjoy each other, enjoy the new environment, the country. It's gonna be great.
Are you sucking or blowing? Yeah! Dave is known as Bill Nye, the science guy.
Chris's way of doing things is completely different than anyone else in the world.
We're gonna go a butt hair smaller than 132.
There is a right way, and then there's his way.
Gotta be able to adjust, Steve.
There's no plan. I mean, it's funny, you go to my work site, you don't see blueprints. I will draw crap on a piece of wood and say, here's what we're gonna do today.
Here's your blueprint. Draw that.
The boxes and numbers, dude. Like,
We'll figure it out.
On a Chris Fischer project, something is just always bound to go wrong.
Okay, so now. Addie, what'd you do?
And that's what I love about it, because also at the end of the day, it just makes us closer.
it'd be a little more efficient if you could share the plans with everyone else, you know?
We're working on it.
We're family. And at the end of the day, we're going to be peeved at each other, and we may scream and yell, but the next day we're back and we figure it out and we move on.
That was your plan. You're now 4. Hey! My bad. 4.5.
They are with me because we do things that aren't ordinary. That's the excitement.
But it's so much more than just the thrill of the challenge. This project speaks to Chris on a deeper level.
I know that there's probably some people who say let it die, bury the building, bury the memories, but I just don't think that was the destiny for this building. I think we're going to bring it back and give it the life that it was meant to have.
I think this project tops any other project he's ever attempted or even thought about.
He is extremely passionate about this project, and I think if he can't complete it, it's gonna drive him nuts.
I look at this mansion and I see it like calling to me to say, take this mess and turn it into a masterpiece that I think it was meant to be. I think the community deserves to see completed.
It will be a landmark. I guess that's what I'm looking for. A landmark that I'd have my stamp on. Say I did that, and more so, I finished it.
A lot of times in life you work and work to get where you are, and you're not willing to take that next step because you want to be safe. But I am putting everything I have, properties, home, on the line for this project.
Yes, I think he's going to have a blast. It's going to be fun. But, you know, we still have to put the kids through college and pay for weddings and hopefully have some sort of retirement.
So we're gonna fight the odds here. But I think once we get into this thing, everybody's gonna be rooting for us to finish this up and bring this beautiful place back to life. It's really got so much potential, and I'm excited for it.
I think I'm buying with emotion, and I always tell people don't use emotion, but with this project, too late. I'm in love with it, I'm going with it. Bad decision, we'll see. That's kind of, we don't know.
Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel and follow on social media to join Chris and his family on their mission to save this incredible building.